Good afternoon, thank you very much and welcome here to FBD Semple Stadium in Thurles for a massive day in the Gaelic Games calendar. There's a small matter of Limerick and Clare in a Munster hurling final later on, but for the Tipperary and Waterford senior Camogie teams, this could be their Munster final. This could be their opportunity to stay in the championship, and we look forward to seeing what happens here in round 3. It's Pride round in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. I'm Darren Kelly, delighted to be joined by Elaine. Elaine, a massive weekend for Camogie, but for these two teams, this is pretty much their Munster final today.
Absolutely, it's do or die for these two teams, and you know they've both had, I suppose, rocky enough starts to the championship. Waterford with that first round defeat to Dublin, then bounced back with that massive victory over Wexford last weekend, so momentum probably with them a little bit. Tip on the other hand were probably, you know, they were the seeded team coming into this group, probably Tip maybe to be second in the group, having, you know, pushed Galway earlier in the league and probably Tip to finish at second, but look, they haven't had a successful campaign to date. They've yet to get a win in the championship, so look, here at home today in front of a massive crowd, they really need a performance to try and stay in this championship.
Yeah, Tipperary are unbeaten in the championship, but with 2 draws, they've only 2 points out of a possible 6 so far. They went out of the Munster Championship after a replay to Clare. It's no wins in 4 games, 1 win now is 6. You mentioned they were the seeded team coming in. If they do win, they'll go back to second in the group, but if they don't, they'll do well to qualify.
Yeah, look, I mean, a win can catapult either of these two teams back up to second, overtaking Dublin, you know, and getting into that second position, so massive prize on stake for them. But as you said, Tip are probably vulnerable at the moment, you know, struggled in that Munster campaign against Clare, took 2 days, couldn't get the better of Clare again in the first round of the championship, and a similar enough performance last weekend in Dublin, so look, really struggling I think to find a little bit of form, and I suppose maybe small little bit of a hangover maybe from the league and that defeat to Galway late in the league.
Waterford started off the first day. We were live here in association with Entray when they lost to Dublin by 2 points, and then they turned it around last week, 3-18 to 9 points against the Wexford team who got their first victory earlier too. Tipperary, the one team that have been their bugbear for the last couple of years, beating them in 3 quarterfinals. If ever there was a day Waterford sensed a chance to beat this Tipperary team, it's today. Yeah,
I think so, and look, credit to them, they bounced back last weekend from that first day in Walsh Park. You wouldn't have been sure that they had that performance in them, but racked up 3-18 last weekend against Wexford and really stamped their authority, and from listening to Derek Lyons afterwards, he thinks it's probably the best performance that Waterford team have put in under his tenure, and look, they need a performance like that today. They need the exact replication of it. As you said, they've struggled with Tip over the last couple of years. Tip have beaten them in all the important games, and today's the day I think where Tip are probably at their most vulnerable. If Waterford can bring a performance like last weekend, they'll give themselves a real shout.
Waterford won't be lacking for motivation for this game in its own merit. 17 points to 11. Last year's All-Ireland quarter-final finished in favour of Tipperary. Tipperary today, Roisin Howard is suspended. We know Orla O'Dwyer, which goal is now available this year. Karen Kennedy is named in the 26. We might see her in action. While on the other side, Waterford didn't have Beck Carton for that game last year. She's here at centre forward today.
Yeah, all those things seem to tip it a little bit in Waterford's favour. You know, as you said, no Roisin Howard for Tipperary. It's forced them to rejig the team. Grace O'Brien is named to start at centre forward rather than midfield. Clodagh McIntyre out on the half forward line. Niamh Tracy on. So a couple of changes there for Tip, and I suppose, look, from Bill Mullaney's point of view, maybe he's hoping that they'll be the changes that will kickstart the campaign for them. Whereas you said for Waterford, they seem to get their key players in form last weekend. Lorraine Bray had a massive game in the middle of the field. Beck Carton and Niamh Rock, you know, they're 3 all-stars, the 3 that they depend on every day, seem to hit form last weekend, and look, Derek Lyons will be hoping they can do that again today, and that they can pull the rest of the girls along with them, and if they can do that, they have a great chance.
The stadium announcer has just announced 3 changes to the Waterford team. None of them a surprise, but we'll get to that in a moment. But you mentioned Tipperary, so let's look at the Tipperary team first. They are the official home team, and a couple of changes from the match programme. In goal number 1 is Anya Slattery. Full back line of 2, Julianne Burke, she's a joint captain. 3, Mary Ryan, and 4 is Emer Luckman. The half back line were number 5, Ciara Maher. Centre back number 6 is Aoife Mcgrath, and 7, Mairead Evanston. The first changes you can see on your screen. Arena Friday, an All-Star nominee last year, wearing number 17. Her first start this year, she came off the bench in their opening 2 games. She partners Caoimhe Maher in midfield. The half forward line, Clodagh McIntyre comes out to the 40 on the right wing. Grace O'Brien is number 8 at centre forward, and wearing number 19 is Niamh Tracy. And in the inside line, top of the right, wearing number 10, Nicole Walsh. 11, Caught the Fan, and wearing number 11 is Emer Mcgrath. Bill Mullaney had to shuffle the pack. He's done a bit of a shuffling there.
Yeah, he's had to, I suppose, with the absence of Roisin Howard there, and she's been such a key player for them, you know, normally holds down around centre forward, midfield, and big, strong, physical ball carrier. So look, Grace O'Brien is named at centre forward there today. She's a very dynamic player, gets around the field, but more used to playing midfield, I suppose, and that link-up play, but known to get forward for a couple of scores as well. But look, Arena Friday and Niamh Tracy both bring a bit of a physical presence to that half forward line and midfield as well. So look, we've been talking about the panel all along and said over the last couple of years years, that's probably what Tip needed to do, was to build maybe a stronger panel. And look, Bill, I suppose being forced today, or taking the chance to stretch some of that panel and see what they're made of.
You can see there on your screen the match referee Ray Kelly from Kildare. Second week in a row we've had Ray. He was in charge of Cork against Clare last week. He was just with the respective captains, Julianne Burke and Grace O'Brien for Tipperary, Lorraine Bray for Waterford. You can see the rain also coming down here as well. Will make conditions difficult. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Let's look at the Waterford team. Well, Elaine, when the Waterford team was announced, it was the same starting 15 to play against Dublin. I said to myself, no way was that going to be the team. And the three changes they've made are actually the starting team that played against Wexford. So this is the Waterford team, and apologies for the changes. In goal number 1, Brianna O'Regan. The full back line, 2, Keely Corbett-Barry, 3, Iona Heffernan, and 4 is Kate Lynch. Wearing number 18 at right wing back is Mairead Power. Centre back number 6 is Clodagh Carroll, and 7 is Orla Hickey. In midfield were number 8, the captain Lorraine Bray, partner by number 9, Clara Griffin. Half forward line, 10, Abby Flynn, 11, Beth Carton, and 12, Mairead O'Brien. And the inside line, top of the right, number 17, Roisin Kerwin. Full forward, number 14, Niamh Rocket, and top of the left were number 19, Rachel Walsh. The same starting 15 to play against Wexford. I'm assuming deadlines to get the programme in is why we had that original 15 first. That's a strong Waterford team. They'll look for the consistency from those players.
Yeah, exactly. Look, as I said, it was probably, and as Derek said, it was probably their best performance under his management term last weekend, and those are the players that used, in fairness to Roisin Kerwin, came on, and Rachel Walsh both came on in that defeat to Dublin, and I thought offered something when they did come on, so got their chance last weekend again against Wexford. Obviously impressed enough to get their starting place here today.
And they have the opportunity as well. If they can make it 2 wins in a row, they'll be in prime position to qualify for the knockout stages. Elaine, you tweeted yesterday Group 1 of the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship is the group that keeps on giving, because we talked there about Waterford hammering Wexford last week, and then Wexford go in peace. Granted, the Clare team probably running on empty at the moment, but they still won 1-9 to 11 points. A game of 3/3 between Dublin and Cork. Cork pushing through, Katrina Mackey with the 2 goals as well. Cork in prime position, but it's still very, very hard to call what are the 2 teams out of the 5 are going to go through.
It absolutely is, as you said. Look, Cork on top, full points as expected, and you'd expect they'll top that group comfortably in the end. But look, being forced all the way by Dublin yesterday, and that just shows, I suppose, what Dublin are bringing to this championship this year, and it's that kind of consistency that they've carried it through from the league into championship. They put themselves in a really good position. But I suppose Wexford going to Clare yesterday and producing that win, be it a 1-point win, as you said. Clare on the go now 6 weeks in a row, so bound to take its toll on them. And for all the hurling, I suppose, they've done in Munster and done for the first couple of weeks of the championship with that draw in the Rag the first weekend, they find themselves now with just that 1 point from that draw after this round of games. So a lot of hurling done, but nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. And Wexford, I suppose, with that win yesterday, really keeping their hopes alive.
Cork lead the group with 9 points. Dublin still in second on 4 points. Waterford and Wexford have 3 points each. Tipperary on 2, Clare on 1. But of course, these 2 teams, a game in hand. The winner of this game, provided we do have a winner, of course, the way this championship is going, will go into second place. Just looking at the conditions, Elaine, and we're seeing brave souls, dare I say, in the terracing there with the rain gear on. Not often Munster hurling final day ends up being a wet day as well. But here today, for this big match in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, the elements are going to be a massive factor.
Yeah, look, it doesn't look much like the June Bank Holiday weekend out there. It's ponchos and umbrellas all around. But yeah, look, conditions are going to be slippy out there. Look, the pitch is obviously in immaculate condition, but it is going to be slippy. Conditions, as I said, are going to be tough. First touch is going to be crucial. There is going to be mistakes made. There'll be handling errors, from both sets of teams, I'd imagine, in both sets of matches. And probably it's whoever can limit those mistakes or whoever can capitalise on the opposition's mistakes best. But look, very little breeze, I think, to speak of. The rain, if it's coming down, is coming straight down. So it's not going to favour anyone in particular. It shouldn't have, as I said, no breeze. So it shouldn't have an impact on puck outs or anything like that. So while conditions will be tough and underfoot conditions will be slippy, I think, look, it's going to be the same for all 4 teams here today.
We're just looking at the Tipperary team, and we were just a moment ago there warming up as well. We saw Cot Defan there, number 14, going out of our screen. We've about 4 minutes to throw in here, by the way. 2 minutes, so we're starting a couple of minutes early here as well. They're taking no chances in a big day like this. So about 1:58 we should have thrown into. I was just mentioning Cot Defan there, 12 frees in this campaign so far. So crucial for Tipperary having the 2 points that they have. Outside Grace O'Brien, nobody else has scored 2 points or more yet. Tipperary need other players to step up today.
Yeah, they do. And look, it's a fault we would have had with Tip over a number of years, is that they were always a little bit over dependent on Cot Defan, and probably in this case frees from Cot Defan. And look, no better woman than to deliver on the big day. She's well capable of it, and we saw, look, her last minute point last weekend secured that draw for them against Dublin. But I suppose to go further in this championship, and given where Tip have been for the last number of years, they do need to have a bigger spread of scorers. On the bigger days, days when Caught has been ably marked maybe by some of the bigger players from bigger teams, you need someone else to step up, and it'll be no different here today. Look, Waterford will have their homework done. They know the threat that Caught Devan is. They're going to watch her closely, so it'll be up to someone else in that front forward line to get up and try and get their name on the scoreboard and maybe try and pull Tip through this one.
We've often talked about the big three in Camogie. Waterford have their big three in Beth Carton, Lorraine Bray and Niamh Rocket. They've shared a total of 2-24 in the championship so far, and if Waterford are going to break through and make a semi-final, dare I say, this year, it's those three players have to be on song every day.
Yeah, they are the three key players for Waterford. Look, they're three all-stars, I suppose, and look, I felt the first day against Waterford they probably didn't do enough to get them into the game. Lorraine Bray has moved forward from wing back to midfield this year and have been going well there throughout the league, getting forward, getting up for a couple of scores, but really didn't that day against Dublin, and I felt the game probably passed her by. Waterford probably needed to get her on more ball. They obviously did last week. She finished with I think 2-4 from midfield, so she obviously brought a huge game last week, and when she does from the middle of the field, linking up with Beth and with Niamh Rocket inside in that full forward line, they're well capable of racking up big scores like we saw last weekend. Like 3-18 is an impressive score against a Wexford team that tends to be very defensive, so a huge score for them last weekend, and look, they look to get more of that today.
It is round 3, it is Pride round of the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, and well done to all the teams who showed their colours at training sessions. We want to include everybody here for their love of Camogie, wherever in the country you are, wherever in the world you are, and we hope you're enjoying our coverage here on the official Camogie Association YouTube channel, brought to you in association with Entray. It's Tipperary, it's Waterford, and Elaine, I don't know, we were talking about off air, I don't think we were talking about on there yet, another key factor in this match too. Both these teams still have to play Cork as well, so whoever doesn't win today are going to find this very difficult. Yeah,
look, the utmost respect to both teams, but you'd imagine that Cork are going to win both those games. As I said, they seem to be cruising, and you'd imagine that those are 3 points that these two teams are going to have to give up. So from today's game and the 2 remaining games, there's only going to be 6 points you would imagine available to these teams, and in a group where things are so tight, every point is going to matter. So no matter what way it goes here today, I suppose they're both looking at getting a victory to try and keep their All-Ireland hopes on track.
Well, we're getting ready for the game. Tipperary will be attacking the goal to the right in the first half. The incessant rain falling down here in FBD Semple Stadium. No real breeze of note so far. It's just that incessant rain falling down, and will become more of a factor as the game goes on. The referee is Ray Kelly from Kildare. Throws the ball in. The game is underway. It's Tipperary against Waterford, and who'll be successful as Clara Griffin tries to launch the first Waterford attack, sending it down in towards the corner there, but Tipperary getting their players involved, and it looks like Mairead Evanston got a touch there for Tipperary and sent it down the left hand side of the field. Both sides will look for an early score. Clodagh Carroll picked up 2 yellow cards in that game against Dublin. A vital cog for Damon, no doubt that was a factor in the result. Gives the pass back to the fullback. Owen Heffernan often swaps with the corner. Orla Hickey, whereas number 7, shows good cuteness there to give the ball to Kate Lynch, and Kate Lynch between the two 65-metre lines makes the move forward there, but Tipperary just getting touches in the way the whole time. Arena Friday getting in the way on one occasion there, and the ball holds up between the Tipperary 45 and 65-metre line. Clara Griffin on the run again, gives it to Beck Carton. Beck Carton now moving within range. Will she get a score? Might open up here on the right. An opportunity for a shot off the crossbar. Snap shot from Beck Carton and stopped, and it goes out. And I think we gone out for a 45. I think we have a goal scoring opportunity. Roisin Curran with the shot off the crossbar. Beck Carton was there as well. Elaine, there's the replay.
Yeah, Beck Carton right down the heart of that Tipperary defence, and the pass in fairness looked to be gone away from Roisin Curran. Did really well to keep it on the hurl, get the shot away and off the post and back out, and look, Beck Carton connected with it. It could have gone anywhere, but got a hurl to it inside and out for a 45. But a good start from Waterford, a good start from Clara Griffin in the middle of the field.
Beck Carton will take this 45 in a score. Waterford want to get something out of that as well. So Beck Carton slightly to the left of the post. She should be able to put this over the bar. Has the distance, doesn't have the accuracy. First wide of the game, only it's 90 seconds gone. Remains 0-0.
Yeah, and that'll be disappointing from Beth. She's normally very accurate on those frees, but on those 45s, but I suppose just maybe gauging the conditions on that particular one. And look, she'll be expected to score most of the rest of them for the rest of the day. But interesting, I think, is Roisin Curran in on the edge of the square, had picked up Mary Ryan, but looks to have swapped again now, and it seems to be Niamh Rocket inside in that 2-person full forward line. So a couple of changes, I suppose, in that Waterford full forward line maybe, and Roisin Curran in there maybe to try and exploit Mary Ryan.
Waterford looking to mix it up, and they'll start this attack with their captain Lorraine Bray. Far side of the field, attacking the goal to the left. This is a sideline cut, and Tipperary having bodies between the 45 and the 65 metre line. Mairead Evanston very busy in the early stages, gets a touch on the ball, and that sends it out. So Lorraine Bray will get another opportunity, gains a couple of yards at the moment. The clock says 2 minutes and 23 seconds, and the sideline cut taken again, and down for the battle between the 45 and the 65 metre line. The Tipperary defenders getting in the way. They don't want to give Waterford space. Mairead Evanston in the mix of all that again, but the breaking ball comes out to Lorraine Bray. She leaves it off for a teammate, and Tipperary dispossess again. You can just see there the commitment of both players as Rachel Walsh lays the pass off, and a couple of passes there is with Beck Carton. Beck Carton with the ball, going to go for a shot at the post. Is this the first score of the game? It has come. It's taken 3 minutes, but Beck Carton puts the ball over the bar. Waterford 1 point, Tipperary no score.
Yeah, and Waterford have started with real intent, came out of those couple of ruck balls really well, and look really hungry and up for the battle, and it'll be up to Tip to respond now.
Tipperary will look to respond as Nicole Walsh comes down to get this directly from Anya Slarry's puck out. Gets away from Keely. Corbett Barry gives the pass across to the left. An opportunity there for Grace O'Brien to get her third point of the championship. Not to be, so we've one wide each at Tipperary's first scoring chance.
Yeah, it was, and it came from a good long puck out from Anya Slattery in the tip goal, and found Nicole Walsh in plenty of space out here on the sideline. Did really well to win it, play it back across, and Grace O'Brien probably rushed the shot a little bit and just swung out to the left and wide.
So open ball there again, but Waterford reading these 50-50 breaks well, and this is Lorraine Bray sending it down in the direction of Niamh Rocket. Gets away from Niamh, might get to Roisin Curran. Not to be as Mary Ryan, the fullback for Tipperary, gives it back to the All-Star from 2020, Anya Slarry. And Anya Slarry gets it down towards the 45 metre line. Lorraine Bray seems to be showing up everywhere. Beck Carton trying to get in the ball at the moment as he's pushed back to the 65 metre line. Good marking from Tipperary, but they couldn't get the control of the sliotar. Caoimhe Maher was the Tipperary player that was there, but this is Abby Flynn, and Abby Flynn was fouled in the process. Free in for Waterford. Yeah,
and you can see the way Waterford has set up. They've plenty of bodies around that half forward line midfield, and when they break that tip half back line, they're running at them. They know they have the pace outside. Lorraine Bray, if she breaks the tackle, is well capable of getting forward for a score, as is Abby Flynn and Beth Carton. So on inside then they have Roisin Curran and Niamh Rocket inside, so the options then to either run it in, try and get the overlap, or to try and work something from out the field.
Beck Carton going to take this free about 55 yards out from the post. The umpires look at each other. They like it. The ball has gone over the bar. She might have missed the first, but she's got the next 2 points to nil.
Yeah, as I said, just getting her range in maybe on that first one, and certainly seems to have found it now. So look, that's something Tip are going to have to be careful of. If Waterford are going to try and break down that half back line, they're going to have to cut out the fouling there, because you can't afford to give Beck Carton chances like that.
Waterford 2 points, Tipperary no score. It's still just coming up to the 5 minute mark here in FBD Semple Stadium, and another scramble for possession there. And again, Waterford taking the ball out every time, and that's really been the difference between the teams so far. Waterford are winning these rucks, and now all of a sudden on the left again, this is Beck Carton, took the pass from Lorraine Bray, and she gets Roisin Curran on the end of this. Anya Slattery shows her control, who shows her composure, takes the ball out to the 20 metre line and plays it into space for Caoimhe Maher, and Caoimhe Maher with the ball on her left hand side. Diagonal one in towards the attack as Tipperary look to get off the mark in this Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. Emer Mcgrath, sister of Aoife's in the half back line, gives the pass back to the white boots of the number 15 Clodagh McIntyre, playing on the wing today. That goes to the right and wide, and Elaine just to pick up that point as well. Like, Tipperary haven't settled into the game, but it's those rucks, those breaking balls. It always seems to be a Waterford player coming out with it.
Yeah, Waterford just look the hungrier at the moment. As you said, that dirty ball, they're willing to get in and win it, and when they do, they're getting their heads up and they're finding their players that little bit easier. Look, Tip, that was a good build-up play for them, but just a little bit lack of composure in front of the goal at the moment. They've had 2 wides and 2 probably good scoring chances that they just failed to take.
Waterford have won another free, and we're just seeing who's going to take this. Orla Hickey is running out in the direction of the ball, so it looks like it'll be her. Grace O'Brien has dropped back a little bit from the starting part of the 40, but that could be just for this attack, and Orla Hickey will take this free. Scholar in Waterford IT takes the free out in the right. Is she going for the post? She does, but again, that goes to the right and wide. 2 wides apiece, 2 points to nil to Waterford. The rain continuing to drop down.
Yeah, look, and that's probably one that maybe Beck Carton could have stood over. I know it was from distance, but Orla Hickey happy to have the shot at the post, but maybe just not the accuracy. So look, a missed opportunity from Waterford, and I suppose look, every opportunity is going to count here today. Many
people in early to see this game as well, some coming for the match later on. It's great to see the crowd building up in FBD Semple Stadium for such an important game in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. Again, Tipperary spilling the ball out over the line, the far side of the field. I haven't been keeping my stats on the sideline cuts, but they're nearly unanimous with Waterford at the moment. Maybe 1 or 2 for Tipperary in the early stages, but Waterford will be very, very happy happy how this game has panned out as Kate Lynch gets ready to restart the action, sends a high dropping ball, will that stay in play, trickles out over the line, and it's going to be an opportunity for Tipperary inside the 65 metre line. Will be Aoife Mcgrath going out to take this, and Aoife Mcgrath, who was joint captain of Tipperary with Cottevan the last 2 years, they've handed over that mantle to Julianne Burke and Grace O'Brien for the 2022 campaign, but she's still a massive leader for this Tipperary team and also for Drummond. She gets good distance on the ball in towards the attack as Grace O'Brien tried to get in a touch in it, but good work from Orla Hickey. It's back for Cottevan. Cottevan sends it in the direction of Grace O'Brien, but Grace loses the ball. Iona Heffernan winning it for Waterford and sending it down towards the middle of the park as Tipperary, a bit of urgency starting to come in them now. They realise they need to get into this game. Arena Friday with the ball, hand passes into space. Will it find a teammate? Did find a Tipperary stick the ball on the 45 metre line at the moment, and again it's that scramble for possession as you can see, and again it's a Waterford player coming out with the ball, and Abby Flynn has possession of it now, but as Elaine said, a dirty ball in what's turned out to be a dirty afternoon weather-wise is going Waterford's way at the moment, and now they're launching another attack down towards the left in the direction of Roisin Curran. The pass came from Mairead O'Brien, and Niamh Rocket just didn't get a touch. Tipperary will be staying very, very tight to Niamh Rocket over the course of the game. She got 6 points from play in the victory against Wexford last week, and on the ball now is Clodagh McIntyre, Ireland's fittest family last year. She's dealt with more hard conditions than this weather. Sends it in towards the attack, and again the break, and a bit of hesitation there by Waterford at the moment could land them in a bit of trouble as Nicole Walsh tries to get Tipperary's first score of the game. It has eventually come. It's taken nearly 9 minutes. Nicole Walsh with the point, 1 point to 2.
Yeah, and look, good defensive work there from Tipperary, I suppose, on that occasion, and it's what they've struggled a little bit just to get a foothold into the game up to this point, but they seem to just have settled a little bit more now at the minute and starting to get a couple of scores on the scoreboard.
That was an important point for Tipperary, get them really into this contest, and the battles now between the Tipperary 45 and 65 metre line. And I mentioned the urgency. Well, Aoife Mcgrath certainly stepping up, plays the ball out to space for Arena Friday, loses out, but there's a blue and gold jersey there to win the ball. A pass later to Quiva Mara now in the direction of Cottevan, and that would have been a very skillful pass. It would have founded the intended target. Cottevan attempting to pick out, I think it was Arena Friday, but Waterford have the ball now, and again the long balls that Elaine mentioned, trying to get their attackers into the game. Roisin Curran, a very dangerous threat there, and Roisin Curran's got inside Mary Ryan, and Mary Ryan, the experience comes in. They get the touch on the ball. Roisin Curran will get the shot in, puts the ball over the bar. 9.5 minutes in, 3 points to 1. Elaine, I thought we were going to get more.
Yeah, look, and I think that's why Roisin Curran is in there on Mary Ryan. You know, Mary Ryan, one of the elder stateswomen on that Tipperary team, and Roisin, one of the, you know, girls after stepping up from minor level onto that Waterford team, so plenty of pace in there, no fear of her, and look, she got that chance inside. Credit Mary Ryan, she got back to defend it as well, but Roisin then using all her experience, I suppose, just to tap the ball over the bar and make sure Waterford got something out of the attack.
Great catch there from Clodagh McIntyre for Tipperary, with Kate Lynch great turning the ball over, and now there's a scramble for possession the far side of the field, and you see the Waterford jersey coming in. Mairead O'Brien wears number 12. A Tipperary player shows they can play a bit of football as well, using the feet there, but Waterford again having the ball, and Lorraine Bray just looks just so comfortable in the middle of the park. She was playing at left wing back last year, sent it in the direction of Roisin Curran there too. If she takes the ball, Beck Carton's hovering nearby, but Roisin might go herself. Roisin Curran looking for another score for Waterford. The umpires have a look, they seem to like it. It's gone over the bar. 10.5 minutes in, 3 scores very quickly, 2 of them for Waterford, 4 points to 1.
Yeah, super take from Roisin Curran there. When you think she took it in front of Mary Ryan, we all know the calibre of a full back Mary Ryan is, but super take from her. Did really well to get out on her right hand side, then get the shot away, and look, she looks threatening in there.
We've seen people applauding hurlers and Camogie players who are scoring with their knees. Not often do you see someone slipping while hitting the ball. Roisin Curran is that good, puts the ball over the bar, and it's 4 points to 1 to Waterford as the battle for possession goes again. Mairead O'Brien doing an awful lot of hard work there for Waterford, the far side of the field. Orla Hickey was involved in the attack. The ball goes out over the line, sideline cut for Waterford.
Yeah, and it's Waterford first to all those breaking balls at the minute. They're getting the little rub of the green. Anything that spills over the sideline there seems to be going in Waterford's direction, and look, they absolutely need to make hay now while they have that possession.
Tipperary have won the ball back, and they're on the move again down towards the slightly to the left of Arena Friday, gives it in towards Clodagh McIntyre, and Clodagh McIntyre now trying to move within range. 2 Waterford players getting away. Keely Corbett Barry, the brave soul who put her body in the way to block that attack, and the battle's on the 13 metre line. Tipperary win the ball back. It looks like it's a Cottevan who has possession of the ball, shot at the post, but both the umpire and Brianna O'Regan signal a wide ball, and Tipperary miss out.
Yeah, Brianna O'Regan probably a little bit more enthusiastic than the umpire on that occasion, but look, I suppose she was just so impressed with her defence outside her. They did really, really well. Keely Corbett Barry initially to get the block in, put her body on the line, but Waterford got the numbers back really, really quick.
Waterford will be very happy with the position they're in these early stages. Tipperary have been a team that have broken their hearts on so many occasions. Indeed, in the Littlewoods National League last year, we brought you coverage from Clonmel. Tipperary won 2-16 to 11 points. This is Roisin Kerwin looking for a third. Runs into two Tipperary defenders, but it might break here for Niamh Rocket. Niamh Rocket has the ball, opportunity for Waterford's shot. It goes over the bar. A point for Waterford for the second time in this game. They're showing they are looking very, very dangerous in front of the Tipperary goal.
Yeah, and you can see how they put 3 goals past Wexford last weekend. They're hungry for goals in there, and Roisin Kerwin is willing to take on Mary Ryan time and time again, and it was Niamh Rocket coming up with a support play on that occasion, and lucky for Tip that one went up and over the bar. I certainly think she probably had goal on mind.
It's 5 points to 1 favour in Waterford, as Elaine just touched on there. Could easily be 2-3 to a point. That's the difference. In Waterford well worth their lead in the early stages as we hit towards the 13-minute mark, and Anya Slattery restarts play again, gets a good drive in the ball down towards the opposing 65-metre line, but it's what Tipperary do with it when it's an open play, and again it's Waterford taking the ball, and it's won brilliantly in that occasion by Mairead O'Brien. This is Lorraine Bray going for a point. When it's working for you, it's working for you. Lorraine Bray with the score, 6 points to 1.
Yeah, and again Waterford just coming out of those rucks, coming out with those dirty balls, and there's always someone running off the shoulder, and on that occasion it was Lorraine Bray, and look, we know how she loves to get forward even from half back, so certainly from midfield she's capable of scoring on most days.
4 scores for Waterford in less than 3 minutes. They were 2 points to 1 up, and now it's 6 points to 1. And we're not too sure if Anya Slattery is looking for a slitter at the moment, but there is a hold on the player on the ground, actually, just there on your screen. I will confirm the identity of the player. It is Mary Ryan. Mary Ryan, look, the experienced campaigner, played in Croke Park in the 2006 All-Ireland final. Up against it today so far, but relishes that challenge.
Yeah, look, and I think she's using all that experience at the moment, maybe just to take a bit of the sting out of the Waterford momentum. I don't think it's anything too serious, to be fair. I think she's probably just looking to try and break the play a little bit, and just try and maybe give Tip a chance to reorganise themselves and get back into this game, because it has been all Waterford so far. They've really dominated that first 15-14 minutes.
So Mary Ryan just getting herself organised too, and as Elaine mentioned there, just over 14 minutes gone, coming towards the second quarter. I'm just looking around the field at playing the tactical way. Both sides are setting up a lot of bodies down the central channel. Mary Ryan is okay. We're going to restart the action, and Anya Slattery, who was represented Tipperary, contested the Puck Fada National Finals in 2021. Shows exactly she can get distance on the ball again, but again, as we mentioned the last time, can the players out there make it count? Clodagh McIntyre won't be found wanting anyway. She's worked hard for Tipperary in the early stages, did well to keep control of the ball, but it's Kate Lynch who takes the break and probably just hit it without looking first, and Aoife Mcgrath will launch another attack, and all of a sudden space is opening up here as Niamh Tracy tries to run on the ball, but that pass gets away from her, and Clodagh Carroll will send it down the right into space, and that ball, that stays in play. No, it doesn't stay in play. It's going to go out for a Tipperary sideline cut. Yeah,
she could see the space she wanted to hit there, and Rachel Walsh was close enough to it, but the pass just not accurate enough for Clodagh on that occasion. But look, she plays that position so well for Waterford, sits back in that pocket and controls everything from there. And look, if Tip are going to attack the Waterford goal, they're going to have to get around her.
Tipperary made 2 changes from last week's game against Dublin. Arena Friday and Niamh Tracy coming into the team instead of Roisin Howard and Claire Hogan. Claire Hogan had started the first 2 games, and no doubt we'll see her at some stage over the course of this afternoon. Speaking of Niamh Tracy, there she is with possession again, a crossfield pass, and looking for Arena Friday. An important touch there by the number 19 for Waterford, was Rachel Walsh, but still going to be a shot for Tipperary, and the ball has gone over the bar. The score comes, and it's 6 points to 2.
Yeah, it was a crucial touch there from Rachel Walsh with that ball coming across the square. Arena Friday was in an acre of space on her own, and had she caught it clear, I think probably would have headed for the Waterford goal. But look, happy enough to just get a score on the board and just tip over Tip's second point to keep them within touch.
Arena Friday with the point, 2 points to Tipperary, 6 to Waterford. 16 minutes gone in the game, and Waterford on the move again, and this is a good ball. If this lands up with Niamh Rocket, a good diagonal ball, Niamh Rocket going to go for the shot. I don't know. The umpire says wide. I would have said Hawkeye, but it was that close.
Yeah, and I think it was probably the umpire on the wrong side called it initially. I think it was the umpire on the right should probably have called it. It was coming too close, maybe to the one on the left. It looked from here like it might have crept in, but as you said, probably could have gone to Hawkeye if he's here today. But Waterford with the wide.
The data wasn't available in Croke Park yesterday. We don't know if it's available in Turles today. Tipperary have the ball between the two 65-metre lines, and again, good pass movement there from the Premier County, and Cueva Maher with possession sent it down in the direction of Cottevan. Cottevan has not scored from play in the championship yet. 12 frees in the two matches so far. Leaves the pass off for Niamh Tracy, and Niamh Tracy will move towards the 45-metre line, but again, Mairead O'Brien getting a stick in there, getting awkward. This is an opportunity for Grace O'Brien. No relation, I don't think. Grace O'Brien with a shot at the post. It goes over the bar. 2 in a row for Tipperary, back to a 3-point ball game.
Yeah, and you feel they're just starting to find their rhythm a little bit now at the moment. They're starting to get to grips around the middle of the field with Waterford and just starting to string those couple of passes together. They're sticking now where they weren't sticking initially.
Tipperary 3 points, Waterford 6, and Waterford not wasting any time. Brianna O'Regan sending it down to Niamh Rocket, who seems to have come out into the middle of the park for this phase of play. And again, another ruck, another battle. Can Tipperary win one of those? Not to be, because Waterford have won it again. But will they get control of the ball? Niamh Rocket plays it along the left there now, and this might work out kindly for Abby Flynn, who looks like she's pushed forward. Has Beck Carton in front of her, decides to play the space into Roisin Curran. And Roisin Curran, what a battle this is with Mary Ryan so far. Mairead Everston coming in to get involved. 2 Tipperary players have it, but they didn't know where the ball was. And Waterford now bringing the bodies in, and Beck Carton with a touch. Opportunity here for Waterford, chance for a shot. Oh, there's a block down. I think there was a hook beforehand, and Beck Carton looked like she was certainly in for a goal, but not to be. Elaine, and it remains 6 points to 3.
Yeah, super recovery from Mary Ryan to get back there and get the hook, and 2 super exponents of the game there. I suppose you put your house on Beck Carton from there, such a clinical finisher, but we're not with a defender to the quality of Mary Ryan.
Clodagh McIntyre with the shot for Tipperary. Can she bring it back to a 2-point ball game? And Brianna O'Regan has been left exposed there. Drops the ball opportunity here. Grace O'Brien deciding to put the wild hurl out, but Waterford's get a little touch. The danger not averted yet, as Tipperary are starting to believe. Thinking back in this game, Niamh Tracy with the ball goes for a shot at the post. They get something out of it. They get the point. It's back to a 2-point ball game. Willie, you can call that a 4-pointer.
Yeah, that was a huge swing in momentum, I suppose, right from Anya Slattery's goal, and that missed opportunity from Beth Carton. And look, credit to Mary Ryan, as I said, got back and got that all important hook in. Brianna O'Regan then nearly messed up on the far goal, dropped that one short, and as you said, Tip did well just to get the point out of it.
Tipperary 4 points, Waterford 6. You can call that a half Tipperary goal chance, but Waterford certainly have had 3 of them in this game so far, as the long ball dropping down the direction of Abby Flynn doesn't materialise. Aoife Mcgrath getting a little touch in that, but Waterford still in possession. Needs to hit back. Another block down by the Drummond and centre back, that time from Lorraine Bray. And Waterford will have a third goal, as they're just struggling to find players. Tipperary starting to get their matchups right. Abby Flynn in possession again, gives it back in the direction of Lorraine Bray. Lorraine Bray tries to move inside for a better angle at the post. She should be able to get a shot now. Excellent block there from Cueva Maher. The skills of the game at their finest here at FBD Simple Stadium. The referee blows the whistle, not happy with what he's seeing, and it's going to be a throw-in ball.
Yeah, super hook there again from Cueva Maher and Lorraine Bray. Lorraine's just soloing away from her, waiting to pull that trigger to try and get it over the bar, but super following, super defensive work from Tip, and they've really stepped up at the back now in the last couple of minutes, and they're starting to shut out the Waterford chances that were just too frequent in that first 15 minutes from Waterford. But for Tip, they've really just grown into this game in the last couple of minutes.
They certainly have been, as the second quarter has come in, nearly 20 minutes gone. Aoife Mcgrath with a long ball down to space again, but not finding the blue and gold jersey, finding the white and blue of the county from the southeast. And now all of a sudden, 3 passes later, and Keely Corbett Barry sends the ball down towards the attack again, down in the direction of Niamh Rocket. Aoife Mcgrath with another touch as well, and Waterford again, they just seem to be able to read the ball well. This is Beck Carton trying to get away from Julianne Burke, gives the pass inside it. That falls nicely for Abby Flynn. Surely a scoring chance. You'd imagine it'll be a scoring chance anyway. Abby might decide to go for more. Abby Flynn on the move for Waterford on the left, will go for the shot. A goal for Waterford. It was coming, and Abby Flynn delivers. It's a 5-point ball game, 1-6 to 4 points.
Yeah, Waterford got a taste for goal last weekend, and obviously realised that goals win games for them. What a ball across initially from Beck Carton. Did really well to evade the tackle over here. Super crossfield ball, and Abby Flynn, she's young, she's got speed, and she's got that massive sidestep, and what a finisher when she did get in there. And that's the goal, I suppose, that Waterford have threatened for the last couple of minutes, and just as it looked like Tip were getting back into this game, hit with a sucker blow from Waterford.
It's Abby Flynn's first goal of the championship of 2022. She had 4 points in the previous 2 games. Can Waterford build in this score? Tipperary were having the momentum beforehand. We were saying they need the next point, but Roisin Curran has 2 already, looking for a 3, or maybe send the pass across for Beck Carton. Good first touch there, as well as the Tipperary defenders really starting to struggle, dependent on their central spine. Aoife Mcgrath was there as well. The pass slightly overhit for Niamh Rocket, and now Tipperary win the ball back, and the ball will be driven out the field by Emer Lokman. She's the number 4 for Tipperary, down towards the other end of the field. Tipperary player goes to ground. The referee to be fair, has allowed these players to get on with very few frees in the match. Kate Lynch with the ball, sends it down towards the left, and Beck Carton is trying to work away inside just on her own. Support is coming from Clara Griffin, but the two-time All-Star says, I can deal with this too. This looked like a good training ground move. Mairead O'Brien, the ball gets away, but we thought that with Abby Flynn. Mairead O'Brien, but she turned to the left, turned to the right, gives the pass back for Niamh Rocket. Niamh Rocket, but she held, she goes for the shot anyway, and that's going to drop down. Well, I thought it'd make Anya Stollery, not to be, it makes Mary Ryan, and she'll clear the ball, send it out the field again, and just since the way Waterford are starting to find these passes, Elaine, that they might have more to offer before half time.
Yeah, look, and as I said, they obviously sense that Tip are vulnerable. They're happy to go at them at the back, you know. Great ball across again from Beck Carton there to Mairead O'Brien on that occasion. Just slipped away from her, popped it back out to Niamh Rocket, but you get the sense that if Waterford get half a sniff of it, they're going to try and go for a goal as best they can in there and try and put this Tip team to bed early on.
Would it be fair to say, Elaine, that if it wasn't for the experience of Mary Ryan and Eva Mcgrath in the central defence, the Waterford would be much further ahead in this match?
Absolutely. Look, you think back on the hook she got on Lorraine Bray there a few minutes ago, you know, they've been really, really crucial because, as we said, Waterford are capable of finishing when they get in there.
Roisin Curran has the ball, she has the advantage, gives the pass. We're going to go back for the advantage. The referee is judging Mary Ryan to have fouled Roisin Curran on the run there, so Waterford will get an opportunity to get the first score after the goal and go 6 points in front. You would imagine, this is in Beck Carton country, you'd imagine she will put this over the bar. It would be probably just to the left of the D. I'm not 100% certain when the referee did put the hand out, but Bet will try and get it as centre as possible, but Ray Kelly's decided to bring it inside a bit more than I thought it was, so it's going to be a free in. The Towels are making their appearance in Simple Stadium. I mentioned there hasn't been many frees in the match. Actually, it struggled back the first couple of minutes to think of scoreable frees, but Beck Carton should get this.
Yeah, certainly. I know Tip haven't strung too many attacking moves together, so they haven't had a huge amount of chances up front. Beck Carton has had a couple, I suppose, of 45 and a couple of frees, and another one here for her, and as you said, it's nicely in the middle of the D, right in front of the goal, so, you know, a handy enough one for her to tap over.
Beck Carton getting ready to take this free. 23 and a half minutes gone here in FBD Simple Stadium in Thurles. This is the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship round 3, the Pride round. Beck Carton with the shot, puts the ball over the bar. It's 1-7 to 4 points.
Yeah, and you're just looking for leaders from Tip now out on that field, and you know they've been at the latter end of championships for the last couple of years, but just haven't clicked this year. And look, to be fair to them, it doesn't look like it's clicking yet here today. It's Waterford who are doing all the running, all the attacking, and Tip really need a leader now to stand up and try and get them back into this game.
I'm looking at the two respective managers out on the line there. Bill Mullaney in the shorts in a day like this. Derek Lyons well wrapped up with the hoodie on him and the rain pants as well. Rena Friday has the ball the far side of the field, gives the pass off, and is this Grace O'Brien sending it down towards the attack, trying to get Cottevan involved in the action, and Cottevan pushed out towards the 45, decides to spread the play, spread it out in the direction of Caoimhe Maher. They need to score to Tipperary. Caoimhe Maher, will she deliver? She puts the ball over the bar. Good response from Tipperary, and it's a 5-point ball game.
Yeah, look, when we spoke about leaders standing up, and that one came through Grace O'Brien. Lovely ball down to Cottevan and a super pass across from her to find Caoimhe Maher in space there, and you know those are the leaders for Tip. They have been over the years, and they're the ones that they really need to step up now.
The referee just blown the whistle. There's a player receiving attention again. Is it Aoife Mcgrath that's just down at the moment? So Aoife Mcgrath, we talked about the influence she's having in this game so far. Of course, the Mcgrath clan, well known now in hurling and camogie circles at this stage. Whether you're talking about Lockmore, Castleiney or Drummond-Inch, Drummond-Inch, the dominant force in Tipperary camogie the last couple of years, driven by Aoife Mcgrath. Thankfully for herself and thankfully for Tipperary, she looks like she'll be okay to continue. Yeah,
she does look like just get a bit of attention maybe on a hip or a thigh injury there, but back up, helmet on, and back ready to play again. And you know she's playing a similar role to what Clodagh Carroll does for Waterford, sitting back in that pocket. But in fairness to Waterford, what they're doing different is they're spraying the ball either side of her, they're forcing the ball wide, and I suppose that's what Tip just haven't been able to do to avoid Clodagh Carroll at the other end.
It's double scores here with 5 minutes to go. Waterford 1-7, Tipperary 5 points. The ball breaks out on the Tipperary 65-metre line, and it's Waterford again working hard, sending it down the left through Abby Flynn. A lot of rotating of the Waterford forwards as well. They know this is an opportunity to deliver this year. They've been written off so many times in the last couple of years and keep coming up with the answers. Orla Hickey driving the ball inside. This might come for Niamh Rocket, surrounded by two Tipperary defenders, goes to the ground, no foul, says the referee. Play continues on, and Tipperary will bring the ball out. Drew Mairead Evanston took his shoulder, gives the pass off for Caoimhe Maher, and Caoimhe will come up towards the 45-metre line. The referee blows the whistle and says it's going to be a free out for Tipperary.
Yeah, and does it look like Mairead Evanston I think has gone back in full back now to pick up Roisin Curran, and it looks like Mary Ryan is out on the wing here on Abby Flynn, so changes in the Tip defence there just to maybe counteract, as I said, the speed and the pace of Roisin Curran in on the edge of the square.
Yeah, action had to be delivered by Tipperary, you would feel too, based on the way Waterford were finding the scores coming very, very easily, but it's the work rate out the field too that have been the springboard for so many Waterford attacks. This is Emer Mcgrath, wearing number 11, gives the pass over. Caoimhe Maher growing an influence in the game, and that's going to drop short, and Waterford will take possession and clear the ball out again down towards the middle of the field, but no Waterford players at home. It's won by Tipperary, and it's won by Mary Ryan, who might relish being out in the field, getting involved with the action against Abby Flynn. The pass comes for Abby Flynn on that occasion. She takes the ball, turns on her left and sends it down in towards the attack as well to one of the red helmets, and that's the red helmet of Beck Carton. Tipperary have the ball. This is Arena Friday with the red boots on the 65-metre line, has the advantage with the free. We're going to go back for the free as well, and Tipperary, they need to make hay before half time.
Yeah, a little bit foolish there from Clara Griffin. You know, Abby Flynn had gotten the touch in, gotten the flick away, but had already given away the simple free.
Simple free conceded. Can they make it count? Vanna said she hasn't scored from playing the championship so far. Not to be at the moment. The ball drops down for Brianna O'Regan, the goalkeeper who made her debut for Waterford in 2015. That was the year that they won the All-Ireland Intermediate Championship, beating Kildare in Croke Park. She was just 16 at the time. Arena Friday, her first start this year, but a dominant force for Tipperary. Down towards the attack, that won't fall kindly for Niamh Tracy. I don't know if she was deliberately trying to knock it down in front of her or not, but it didn't happen either way, and the clearance comes by Clodagh Carroll, but it goes out over the line just over 2 minutes to half time. Mary Ryan has the ball, going to take a sideline for Tipperary.
Yeah, and you just feel maybe Waterford you're losing a little bit of composure now coming up to half time. You know, they've had a big 27-28 minutes so far, but that clearance from Clodagh Carroll and the last couple of clearances just haven't quite found their intended target, and it's just given Tip a chance to counteract. And look, from a Tip point of view, they need to get a couple of scores on the board maybe before half time, and this attack probably presents an opportunity to do so.
It's a week off for all the teams in Group 1 next week. They've played 3 weeks in a row, this being round 3. Don't worry though, we will have action here in the Camogie Association YouTube channel of Group 2 games. We'll talk about them in a moment. This is Emer Mcgrath going for a shot for Tipperary, and Emer Mcgrath puts the ball over the bar. Tipperary 2 scores in a row, 176 points.
Yeah, looking for all the dominance I suppose Waterford have had in this first half. They still find themselves only those 5 points up, you know, or 4 points up at the moment, but you know, Waterford have done a lot of the hurling, and I suppose if Bill Mullaney's team can get in within touch and distance at half time, they'll be happy, given that they've played second fiddle to Waterford for most of that first half.
Play's been continuing there, Elaine, but Grace O'Brien is in some discomfort at the moment. She tried to get up and get involved with the action and started limping again, so this be a bit of concern. You can just see her on the screen there at the moment, but Ray Kelly is obviously happy it's not anything majorly serious, so play will continue. Tipperary playing with 14 players. Yeah,
and she's down from the time that Mary Ryan took the sideline just here in front of us, so you know, it's not a quick fix for her, but she'd be a huge loss to Tipperary if she does have to come off. As I said, she's one of their real leaders, joint captain, and has had a huge impact with them all year.
Kate Lynch sending the ball out towards the left, but it's won back by Caoimhe Maher. Caoimhe Maher lays the pass off, and this is an attack down the right. Mary Ryan, the player, delivering the pass. Can she find a teammate? And Clodagh McIntyre in possession. Back to Caoimhe Maher. Caoimhe Maher with a long ball down, but it's 1-on-3. If it works out perfectly for Emer Mcgrath, something might be on here. If not, she needs support. Grace O'Brien is back on her feet. She is okay, but Emer Mcgrath goes a different way. Was sending it across in the direction of Nicole Walsh. Tipperary are starting to fumble some uncontested ball at the moment, and this is going to allow Waterford to try and get back in. Beck Carton in the middle of all that, fighting for possession of the ball, lost their hurl in the process. The referee having a look here. Is he happy with it? He is happy, and play continues on as Clara Griffin sends the ball down towards space. Roisin Curran on her own at the moment, up against Mairead Evanston, the new full back for Tipperary. She gives it to Aoife Mcgrath. The 30 minutes have been played in the first half, and it's down to the discretion of the Kildare official. And much more time we will have before half time, as Clodagh McIntyre she had the ball, loses the ball. Clara Griffin to Kate Lynch, and Kate Lynch sends it down towards the attack to Roisin Curran, who comes out the field. There's no Waterford player inside the Tipperary 45-metre line. They have to work out their attack. They're playing the Camogie equivalent of a false 9 at the moment. Kate Lynch, or maybe it's called a false 15 in Camogie. Elaine might answer that one in a bit, but Aoife Mcgrath wins the ball outside the 13-metre line, being surrounded by Abby Flynn, who's pushed back forward again, moving around the field. Tipperary do get it out to Mairead Evanston, and she's inside the 45-metre line, gets away from Roisin Curran, finds the teammate, and Tipperary on the move towards the 65-metre line, but again possession just been dropped. 2 minutes of additional time we are hearing from the stadium announcer here, so we've played nearly one of that, so 1 to go. Can Tipperary get a score, bring this back to 1 puck of the ball before half time, or Waterford get a score to stretch their margin out? Clodagh Carroll doesn't get the clearance, but one blocked down by Nicole Walsh. Caught van, gives it to a teammate, an opportunity for a score. Here's Caoimhe Maher with the shot. It's a score for Tipperary. Tipperary. It's gone over the bar. I confirmed the score at the moment was Emer Mcgrath got the point, and it's now 1-7 to 7 points.
Yeah, and look, I suppose that's where Tipper getting a little bit of change from that Waterford defence at the moment. Waterford are quick to funnel the numbers back, but Tipper good to use the ball across the 45 and 65 there, and they're able to shoot at distance, as Emer Mcgrath has shown with her 2 scores. So, it's something I suppose Derek Lyons and his team are going to have to look at half time.
Waterford will be disappointed to be only 3 up. Will it be 4? Mairead O'Brien, it's hard to tell from that. The umpires have, I think it crept in, but we do have Hawkeye in Semple Stadium.
That remains to be seen, Darren. We thought we had it last night too. So
there is a screen here to our right. I know you can't see it on your own screen at the moment, and we're in a very compact press box here. So Owen, one of our cameramen here, Association with Entry, is going to make an attempt to get this screen up. So Mairead O'Brien, and that's the best shot we can get at the moment. So we're waiting to see, will there be data first and foremost, and what the decision will be. Waterford, the shot from Mairead O'Brien, 3 points between the teams, 32 minutes gone, and everybody glued to the big screen here in Semple Stadium. And it's taken as long as it was taken last night in Croke Park Lane, but we will get a decision in a moment, you would feel. And I'm looking at Ray Kelly, and I'm looking at the screen, and nothing's happening so far. So what a exciting way to finish off the first half. You can definitely tell the rain is falling down here, and they're taking their time with this decision. Personally, I thought it crept in, but it's not my decision to make. It's the Hawkeye officials here, and everybody's standing around wondering what's going on. And Elaine, I'll let you take over here for a second.
Yeah, Ray Kelly's definitely mic'd up to someone anyway, because I could hear him put his hand to his ear there to see if he can hear anything in his ear, but he seems to be as dependent on Hawkeye as we are. From Mairead O'Brien, it was a super shot from her, and look, I suppose it's hard to tell from this angle. It did look like it might just have crept in, a little bit high probably on that angle, but it did look like it might have crept in. And if I was her, I'd probably have a chance putting my hand up and looking for it anyway, and trying to make up the umpire's mind on that one before he got a chance to call Hawkeye. But I'm not sure Hawkeye is going to make an appearance here today, and I'd say most of our 2 minutes now of additional time is going to go on watching that big screen.
Well, we're nearly 2 minutes since we got the camera on this, and it was about 30 seconds beforehand. You can see 33:30 on the official big screen here in Semple Stadium, or FPD Semple Stadium to call it by its correct name. Waterford 1-7, Tipperary 7 points. I'm wondering, there should be at least one more bit of play before half time, but the referee has said it's a wide, so maybe somebody got in his ear, so a wide has been given. No score for Waterford. No doubt that'll be a keenly contested talking point at the end of the game. There's only one between them, and Elaine, remains a 3-point ball game.
Yeah, and Ray Kelly did signal to his umpire to indicate the wide ball there, so obviously whether Ray got word into his ear maybe and it just didn't come up on the graphic on screen, but look, either way the decision made now. And look, for Waterford it would have been nice to get an extra point to get in those 2 scores up at half time to keep that 4-point cushion, because they have done most of the hurling for this first half, and I suppose from a tip point of view it keeps them within 1 score of them.
Tipperary within 1 score as well. Can Waterford get another score before half time? Nearly 4.5 minutes of added time has been played, but of course the referee does blow the half time whistle. The goal, the difference between the teams, that came from Abby Flynn on 21 minutes, and it's a 3-point ball game here favouring Waterford at half time. Elaine Aylward, your overall thoughts of the first half?
Yeah, I think Waterford are probably deserving of that 3-point margin, and maybe even more given the amount of hurling that they've done. But credit to Tip, look, they've made a couple of changes at the back there. They got Mary Ryan out at full back, and from a Waterford point of view that could have been the worst move maybe, because Mary well capable of getting forward from that half forward line or half back line as well, and delivers good quality ball inside. Waterford were on top for a long part of that first half and had probably the most goal chances. Tip didn't really trouble Brianna O'Regan's goal, and tacked on a couple of points there coming near the end from distance, which I think is where they're going to have to attack Waterford from. As I said, Clodagh Carroll sits back into that pocket, so she's well able to repel any long or aimless ball that goes in there. So if Tip are going to put in long ball, they need to make sure that they're putting it dead inside there. But look, it sets it up for a massive second half. Waterford have looked goal hungry. Tip haven't troubled the goal, but we know they're capable of scoring them. And as I said, there's 30 minutes left.
The most important 30 minutes for both teams this year is about to come up in about 5 to 10 minutes time. We're going to take a break, but don't go away. We'll have a sing-song. The music is great here in Semple Stadium. The weather is not, but it's been an enjoyable opening half of Camogie. Waterford with the advantage by 3 points. What will happen in the second half? The half-time score here in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. Waterford in front by 3. It's Waterford 1-7, Tipperary 7 points.
responsible.
afternoon, thank you very much and welcome back here to FBD Semple Stadium. This is the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. You can hear the atmosphere in the background. We've had it bad, we have the music is still going on and the second half is underway, and that was the quickest the DJ has shut down music in my lifetime so far. Waterford on the attack. We'll talk to Elaine Aylward in a moment. This is Lorraine Bray with a score 10 seconds into that second half. The first score, the music hadn't even finished. It's 187 points.
Yeah, and straight from the throw in, Clara Griffin again won a lovely ball right at the throw in. Super little hand pass off, found Lorraine Bray, and she found herself in acres of space, and as we said, loves to get forward and well capable of getting a score.
And as we mentioned, the music will be moving to the grooving at the end of this game because it's the final match for both teams to stay in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. Nobody will be mathematically out today, but the mountain will be very, very high for the team that loses. Waterford in control. This is Tipperary Arena Friday, sending the ball down and happily won by Clodagh Carroll. But Clodagh Carroll is giving the ball away. Nicole Walsh, can she get a scoring opportunity here for Tipperary? Moving inside. This is Nicole Walsh, and I think she got herself caught in two minds exactly what to do there, Elaine. The ball goes to the left and wide.
Yeah, the easy score was on, the easy point was on. Thought maybe that she was going to go forward and try and create something to the goal and test Brianna O'Regan, but in the end just ran out of options and opted to just flick it out left and wide, and that's a missed chance for Tip.
Ray DePower doing well there for Waterford to make it awkward for her too, but it should have been a score you would feel for Tipperary. A lot of play to go yet, only 4 points between the teams, and this contest, the competitive nature of these two sides living up to what we'd expect, even if it's been pretty much one way regarding results the last couple of years. Very rare have Waterford been well beaten by their Tipperary counterparts. A free for Tipperary, and I'm just looking at your notes there, Elaine, because Cottovan has not scored in this game yet. Unusual to say that after 32 plus minutes of action.
Yeah, and look, in fairness to her, she hasn't been on a whole lot of ball. Clodagh Carroll is sweeping so well outside her that anything that drops in short, she's picking it up. And look, Tip, as we said in the first half, really didn't trouble Brianna O'Regan that much and didn't get a whole lot of ball into that full forward line.
Cottovan with the free, 50 yards out. Can she bring it back to a 3-point goal? We had battered down there. The danger is not averted, but there was lacking Tipperary players. There's still two of them there. The referee spots a foul, so it's going to be a free out. And for a moment there, Elaine, I thought something might happen.
Yeah, and it certainly looked like it. Brianna O'Regan opting to go with the hurl and bat it down, which she doesn't usually do. I suppose maybe given the conditions, not confident enough to go with the hand. But credit to Clodagh Carroll, I think she was quickest to the break there and took a bit of a knock when she was coming out with it, and has won a free for herself and a let off certainly for Waterford on that occasion.
Yeah, Clodagh Carroll just receiving attention there at the moment, former student of Ursuline in Waterford, and a key player, as we mentioned about Clodagh Carroll too. We thought she wasn't going to be back this year. She was coming back in the latter stages of the league, came off the bench in the Division 2 semi-final, and her sending off the first day could have been a factor in the result. Yeah,
look, for a player that we didn't think was going to be there, has certainly made a huge impact on the championship. She's really nailed down that number 6 jersey for Waterford, and as I said, so consistent there, back there in that pocket and able to just pick up and sweep everything that comes her way in there.
Waterford on the attack again as Mairead O'Brien tries to get on a ball there. Mairead Evanston getting in the way, but Mairead O'Brien has done well to gain a bit of control here for Waterford. Roisin Kerwin with the white and red boots, leaves it off for Niamh Rocket. Niamh Rocket pushed out to the 45-metre line. Mairead Evanston not giving up. She's worked hard for Tipperary in this game. Gives it back to Beck Carton. Beck Carton looks across the field, showing her awareness, and spotted the player. That was Clara Griffin, the far side of the field. Clara Griffin about 50 yards out, talking about pulling the trigger, changed her mind, spots a player inside. That's Lorraine Bray. Lorraine Bray moving down the left, trying to get away from Caoimhe Maher. Lorraine Bray, a very, very difficult angle. Is that a shot, or it's going to fall in front of Anya Slarry? Anya Slarry lets the ball go out over the right and wide. Again, Tipperary Waterford, I'm saying on that occasion, creating an opportunity. Good work from Ray Evanston. Yeah, and good work from Tip to get the numbers back there and shut down the chances. Beck Carton with no choice but to go, and as I said, that just two umpires' hands went straight away. Anya Slattery obviously stepped outside the small square there, taking that puck out, and obviously Ray Kelly now is going to punish it. Yeah, it's going to be a 45 in for Waterford, and Anya Slarry looks a bit confused, but the umpire the hand up straight away, so Waterford are going to get their opportunity to get the score and go back 4 points in front. Beck Carton, the ball just thrown away, nobody offering to get it for her, so she's going to get it herself. Big decisions happen in games as well. Now Waterford can argue over 2 potential points in the first half. One of them felt like an eternity for a decision to be made, but here now, when you get that break going your way, if Beck Carton can punish, this becomes a 5-point ball game, and you'd expect Beck Carton to put this over. She did miss a 45 in the early stages of the first half. Lots of young people, the crowd building up here in FBD Semple Stadium. Beck Carton with the 45 puts it over the bar. 4.5 minutes into the second half, a break for Waterford, 1-9-7.
Yeah, it's certainly a break, and it's one I'm surprised Tip didn't argue a little bit more, because, it's not one you see consistently be blown up in Camogie, and I think that's the first one I've seen in a number of games. So, Beth and Waterford obviously happy to take the free and take the score, and they go on the attack now again.
Yeah, we can be forgiven too for we're looking out the middle of the field for where the ball will go, and it's the umpires that are in there to watch things like that. As Roisin Curran sends a ball down in front of Beck Carton, it doesn't materialise, and that's going to go out to the right and wide. 5 minutes gone here in the second half of the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. FBD Simple Stadium. Waterford 1-9, Tipperary 7 points. We will have the announcement of the Glen Dimplex player of the match at the end of the game, and we'll be talking to that player of the match. So don't go anywhere at the final whistle, and that's a high challenge in on Niamh Rocket, and it's going to be a free for Waterford. No arguments with that, and somebody might be having a word with the official.
Yeah, I think there can't be any argument there. As I said, Niamh Rocket going closely down the sideline, had taken certainly the maximum number of steps, but lovely in play there between the two players. And as I said, Niamh Rocket going down the sideline had certainly taken, I think, the max number of steps, but as came out of that tackle, Mary Ryan just, I think, ahead into the chin there. Don't think there was any malice in it, don't think it was intentional, but a free nonetheless, and Mary is going to find herself in Ray Kelly's book.
Yeah, change there. Clodagh Quirk coming onto the field to play for Tipperary instead of Ciara Maher. The first substitution of the game. Of course, it's again those collisions. How many times we talk about in Tipperary? I probably just can't get the right way of one of those calls at the moment, but it was a high challenge nonetheless. It's a correct decision from the match official, and it's going to be a Waterford free. And Beth Carton, if she puts this over the bar, there'll be 6 points between them again. Beth Carton with the free. It looks accurate. Beth Carton has been reliable enough in this afternoon for Waterford. She puts the ball over the bar, 1-10-7.
Yeah, she was leaving the umpires or Hawkeye, no doubt on that one. It was a super free and sailed right over the black spot of the bar. Lorraine Bray had made a run, maybe thinking that perhaps Beth might need to use her, but on that occasion happy enough, confident enough to go for her own score. 6
points between the teams, 3 points to nil to Waterford in the second half so far. We have played 6 minutes and 45 seconds, and Tipperary just need to get a score here and get themselves back motoring in this game. Caoimhe Maher, it's a player that might be able to do that. Gives the pass off for Emer Mcgrath. Emer Mcgrath sent a high floating ball in as Tipperary drop 2 or 3 names inside there. Waterford have 4 defenders, and they're not going to make it easy. And Kate Lynch, I think it's the player that brings the ball out the field towards the 65-metre line, and Tipperary just missing out again. And sometimes it's just Tipperary seem to win the race, don't seem to win the ball. That's a big difference between these sides. And Beck Carton, a ball that in fairness had no right to win, has won the ball, has won the free on her own 65-metre line. Big moment, Lynn.
Yeah, it certainly is. And look, Mary Ryan, as you said, was first to that ball, but Tip at the moment just looking like a team that are just so desperately chasing their first win of the championship, that they're just forcing things that are just not coming off. Whereas Waterford are playing, I think, with the confidence of a team that scored 318 last weekend and know that now their pomp is up a little bit. Obviously took a big defeat the first weekend, but certainly bounced back in style last weekend and have carried that confidence into today's game.
We were in Duggan Park, Ballinasloe, for the final round of group games in the Littlewoods Ireland National League when Tipperary ran All-Ireland champions Galway to 1 point at the end, and they've only won 1 game since. It's 1 win in 6 matches for Tipperary, and they really need to get a victory, and a victory in this game could get them back going again, because it'll have them up to second place in the Group 1 table, but they trail by 6 points. Julianne Burke lays the pass off into the middle of the field for Caoimhe Maher, and Caoimhe Maher sends it down towards the 45. Can Tipperary get a score, get themselves back going? Caoimhe Maher there, perfectly placed to win the ball from Nicole Walsh, and moves down the left hand side of the field, has a player in front. That player is Niamh Tracy. Niamh Tracy with a shot at Tipperary, desperately needs to go over the bar. It looks good to me, it looks good to the umpire. The ball goes over the bar. Tipperary get the first score in the second half, 1-10-8.
Yeah, and that's one they needed badly. They just haven't been able to trouble that scoreboard for a long time, but that's one. And look, whatever joy they're getting, it is coming from long range points, and they are well capable of getting them. So the more that they can get, the closer they'll keep to Waterford, and they'll keep themselves in this game.
Tipperary are making a change. Claire Hogan, who was a surprise omission from their starting team, comes on the field to play, but Grace O'Brien is the player that goes off. I wonder, has that anything to do with an injury picked up in the first half? We'll get Elaine thoughts on that in a moment. We're watching Arena Friday there, sending the ball down the left for Tipperary. Can they add another score now and really get themselves back into the game? No better person than Cottovan. Looked around, spotted 2 players out the far side of the field. One of them is Emer Mcgrath. Emer Mcgrath with the shot for Tipperary. Brianna O'Regan's playing umpire again. The men in white don't agree. The ball has gone over the bar, and it's a point for Tipperary. It's a point for Emer Mcgrath. 1-10 to 9 points.
Yeah, and again, similar to the first half, Tip just seemed to get a little bit of a foothold around the middle of the field now, and they're setting up those attacks, I suppose, where Waterford had been winning those dirty balls. It's now Tip that are starting to win them, and they're starting to punish Waterford on the scoreboard.
That's it, they've got the last 2 scores. They need a few more to get themselves really back into this contest. And a long drive from Aoife Mcgrath down the other end of the field, batted down by, it was number 18, Mairead Power. But Waterford still have the ball on their own 45-metre line, sending it back down the other end of the field, looking for Abby Flynn. Abby Flynn's up against Julianne Burke now. They're really keeping an eye on Abby in this match. Abby goes in the run again. She's the goal scorer in the game. Bats it in front for Niamh Rocket. Niamh Rocket has the ball. Can she get the turn? Was she being pulled? The referee has their hand out. And it's going to be a free in for Tipperary. And the referee will be chatting to someone here.
Yeah, and just when Waterford needed it, that was a super take there from Abby Flynn around the half forward line. Used all her ingenuity to just get a flick away to Niamh Rocket inside in space, so Mary Ryan is now picking up, and look, Niamh won it really well, turned quickly and was heading for goal, and I think Mary Ryan pulled her back again.
So it looks like Mary Ryan there having a chat with the referee in front. So it's a yellow card. So a yellow card it's a second yellow card.
Yeah, Mary Ryan picked up a yellow card for the tackle on Niamh Rocket a few minutes ago. Here underneath it's the head high challenge, and that's the second yellow for her.
I missed that first one there myself, but Elaine didn't miss it, and Tipperary are down to 14 players, and that's a massive thing. We'll get overall thoughts on that in the moment. First, we'll see what Beck Carton is going to do with this. But Tipperary, you can see Mary Ryan there going off the field to play a second yellow card in the match, and Tipperary have to try and rescue this game, which is 14 players on the field, 11 minutes gone in the second half. Beck Carton getting ready to take the free here for Waterford. She takes the free, she puts the ball over the bar. It's 111 to 9 points, but as you mentioned, Elaine, 2 yellow cards, Mary Ryan gone.
Yeah, look, and it's not just the loss of a number. I think it's a loss of the player of the calibre of Mary Ryan. We saw she was having a bit of a tough day inside on Roisin Kerwin at full back, came out to the half back line and, had started to really grow into the game there, was picking up Niamh Rocket, and, a huge disappointment for her. 2 silly enough yellow cards to pick up in close succession, and a huge battle now for Tip.
How can Tipperary respond? How can they rally? Their leaders need to step up as Cotnavan tries to set up an attack, but that doesn't happen on this occasion, and mopped up by the Waterford defenders, and they'll bring it out towards the 45. We just want to say a shout out to Mary Newman, Cork Camogie Volunteer of the Year and a wonderful ambassador for Cork Camogie and Cork Gaelic Games in general. She's enjoying our coverage here on the Camogie Association YouTube channel, brought to you in association with entry of this Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. 12 minutes gone in the second half. Waterford 5 points in front, 111 to 9 points, but Tipperary down to 14 players, and the next few scores going to be vital now as Lorraine Bray takes the ball for Waterford, brings it out towards the 65-metre line, down in the direction of Roisin Kerwin, and we haven't seen exactly how Waterford are using the extra player yet, but Tipperary have the ball back, and now they have a few players around. That's Arena Friday, and she'll send it down the field, but maybe the extra player is going to be in defence, and maybe it might be Iona Heffernan, who knows. Iona Heffernan overhits a pass into the direction of Rachel Walsh, but it does find a white jersey as the team from the southeast now start making the move again, looking for more scores and just mixing up their attacks. We're watching the play here, and this is on the move as Lorraine Bray. Lorraine Bray bats it inside. It might come for Niamh Rocket. Came in the blind side, just doesn't get control of the slippy ball. In fairness, the rain has not stopped since this game goes on. A collision between 2 players. Referee says it was 50-50. Back to Lorraine Bray. Lorraine Bray kicks it along the ground, trying to find Roisin Kerwin, and Roisin Kerwin not there at the moment. You can see another scramble inside the 45-metre line. Who's going to win this one? It's won by Clara Griffin. She didn't bring it too far because taken back, I think Clodagh Quirk was the player that got the touch, found a teammate, and out the field, back for Waterford with the extra player. A long driving ball down the field into the hands of Anya Slattery. It was Orla Hickey who hit that ball. She'll send it out the far side of the field for Clodagh Quirk, and Clodagh Quirk will bring it up towards the 65-metre line again, looking around for options, looking around for Cotnavan. Cotnavan has the ball on the 65-metre line now as Tipperary desperately look for even a score first to bring it back to a 3-point ball game again. Waterford got the first, there's 5 points between them. It's 111 to 9 points. Waterford win the ball back. Clodagh Carroll along the ground to Lorraine Bray. Lorraine Bray inside the 45-metre line, looking around for options. There's plenty of time in Turles to see where this is going to go. Knocks it for Abby Flynn, and Abby Flynn was it down for Niamh Rocket. It took Niamh a second to work out what was going on, but Tipperary have the defenders in the way too, and we're going to have another battle, Elaine, back where it originally started.
Yeah, we're back after play up and down the field, but again, super work from the Waterford defence back there. They have Clodagh Carroll is normally a spare player back there. They now have a second one, so they can afford to be really composed, and we saw how much time Lorraine Bray could gain on the ball there, and super ball down from her, and a lovely connection by Abby Flynn to put it into the path of Niamh Rocket. If she'd been a little bit more alert to it, she possibly could have got in for a score there, but Tip do well to work it out again.
We're closing in on the 3/4 hour mark of this game as Clodagh McIntyre launches the Tipperary attack down the field now, just inside the 45-metre line, and the battle again the other side. Another ruck, another maul, and another engagement of players from both teams. I can see 4 Tipperary players. I think I saw half a dozen Waterford. One of them won the ball, gave it to Clodagh Carroll, and Clodagh Carroll sends it down the field again towards the opposing 65-metre line. The scores have dried up temporarily, but the play is equally as compelling, equally as intriguing, equally as interesting as Abby Flynn sends it down for Roisin Curran. Roisin Curran sliding along the ground again. She scored a point doing that earlier on. The referee says she took too many steps. I don't know how you can do that on your knees, but either way it's a free out for Tipperary.
Yeah, she wasn't going anywhere quick anyway, so I'm sure it wasn't being blown for steps, probably for over carrying it. But look, a huge physical battle in there, and she's a big part of what has been good about Waterford up front today.
A change for Tipperary. Laura Shenners is coming on the field of play, and she's going to replace Nicole Walsh. So that's the third change for Tipperary. Waterford haven't made any changes in the match too. They're happy enough the way things are going here at the moment. Free for Tipperary, going to be taken by Eva Mcgrath, and Eva Mcgrath down the left now, trying to keep the ball in play. Well, Clara Griffin just got a touch too soon, couldn't control the ball. Another opportunity taken by Niamh Tracy, and she didn't take it very well because she gave it to Clara Griffin. Clara Griffin to Mairead O'Brien, takes the challenge from Marina Friday, gives it off to Kate Lynch. Kate Lynch with a ball down the field in the direction of Beck Carton, who was running out to receive that ball before it was even hit. She knew where it was coming on the 65-metre line, looking around, gives it to Abby. That's Abby Flynn. Abby Flynn with the ball, high dropping ball. There's players with red helmets all over the place, and they're looking for scoring opportunities, and that is a shot at the post, and it's gone over the bar. It was Lorraine Bray. I just doubted myself for a moment. She gets to the point, 112-9.
Yeah, but what super use of the ball from Waterford, right from back here where Clara Griffin won that sideline back again. Lovely little pop pass through the hands, and Waterford just constantly have players coming off the shoulder at the moment, and I suppose that all looks a little bit easier when you have an extra player.
They do have the extra player, and they're not making it easy for Tipperary, who you would feel will need to get a goal in this game to have any chance of rescuing this. Niamh Rocket might get one for Waterford. She might take a point in this occasion. Niamh Rocket takes the ball, puts the ball over the bar. 16 and a half minutes gone in the second half, 113-9 points.
Yeah, and look, I think Tip heads they're just starting to drop a little bit on that occasion. You know, a poor puck out, poorly executed by Tip, and Waterford quick to get in on to punish. And you know, Niamh Rocket makes that the fourth of the starting 6 forwards for Waterford, who've got on the score sheet with 3 points from Lorraine Bray in the middle of the field as well.
7 points between the teams now as Rachel Walsh goes out to try and win the ball for Waterford. The referee spotted a foul again. The breaks are starting to go Waterford's way again, and they'll take their time to build this up. And the clock continues running down, and Waterford in control of their destiny, and a massive opportunity for Waterford, who've not gotten one over this Tipperary team yet. If they win the game, it'll put them to 6 points, second in Group 1 behind Cork, while Tipperary will have 2 points out of 3 games with matches against Wexford, a resurgent Wexford, we'll find out in 2 weeks' time, and Cork, the group leaders in the final round of games. Many thought that the top 4 were going to be the top 4 again. Well, Tipperary need to do something to keep that on track. This is Niamh Tracy on the run for Tipperary, moving inside, an opportunity. She took the bottom. Laura Shenners is out, and a save from Brianna O'Regan. It was a floating type of ball, but difficult ones to judge at time. It was an excellent play shot from Niamh Tracy, but an excellent stop from Brianna O'Regan. Quiva Maher with the response. Can she put this over the bar? She does put it over the bar. She gets the point. 18 minutes into the second half, 113-10 points.
Yeah, and Tip gets something from it, but it could so easily have been something bigger. You know, I think Niamh Tracy, she's been threatening that goal all day, and since the Tip needed something big, but look, you're going to have to get a good one to beat Brianna O'Regan from that distance, and she was well capable of that when her clearance. She'll probably be a little bit disappointed about that. She afforded the opportunity to Tip to get that one back over the bar, but look, it's up to Waterford now to respond again.
I can see Aoife Landers getting ready to enter the field of play from the Onren club, and that'll be Waterford's first change of the game. But you heard some of the O's there in the background as Clara Griffin, who's been one of the bravest players in the field here today, you would feel getting in the mix. Iona Heffernan is going to go off for Waterford, Elaine, and it's Aoife Landers coming on the field of play.
Yeah, and Aoife Landers probably a bit better place maybe to play that spare player role back there. That, you know, Iona Heffernan is a Superman marker back there at full back and does that job so well, but Waterford with the 2 spare players back there now, maybe Aoife Landers better placed to finish out the game in that position for Derek Lyons.
2 weeks ago, not many people were predicting Waterford to be putting themselves in prime position to qualify for the knockout stages of the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship after their opening day defeat to Dublin. But this is a great position they're in now with 11 minutes to go in this match, 7 points up after a win against Wexford, and they're still happy enough to keep moving the ball, keep involved with the play. And that was Mairead O'Brien there, and didn't happen for her. The ball goes out over the line. It's going to be a Tipperary ball, and Aoife Mcgrath will be anxious to get this very, very quickly. There's a Tipperary Tipperary player on the ground there, just tying laces, I think, so that's all okay. We won't be holding anything up for that. And Aoife Mcgrath will restart the action just outside her own 65-metre line as she looks to inspire her team to get the crucial score that could get them back in this match. It's not unheard of, 14 beaten 15. It happens regularly enough. This is Clodagh McIntyre. Clodagh McIntyre is on the move here for Tipperary. She's on the 20-metre line. Clodagh McIntyre with a pass inside, looking for Niamh Tracy, and a great interception there by Waterford. A wonderful interception by Waterford, and that has stopped a very, very potential goal-scoring opportunity. The ball goes all over the line, and it was Keely Corbett-Barry, the minor Waterford captain of 2019, that made that vital touch.
Yeah, look, and that's what's going to happen now if Tip keep trying to force that ball into the goal. You know, Waterford, as we said, have the numbers back. They've got 2 back there now, 2 spare players, so they can afford to get the numbers, keep them in that full back line. But super interception by Keely Corbett-Barry there, and as you said, stopped an almost certain goal for Tipperary.
Laura Shinner takes the sideline, could get good distance. They're trying to find Clodagh McIntyre. She's up against Kate Lynch at the moment. Kate Lynch has been superb for Waterford as well, and leaves the ball off for Clodagh Carroll to send it down in space up towards the 45-metre line. Arena Friday coming in for the battle. The momentum carried her through, and it's going to be a free out for Waterford. Another change coming up for the Dacia, and Sarah Lacey is coming on from Maria O'Brien.
Yeah, super play there from Lorraine O'Brien. You know, knew she was probably beaten to the ball on that occasion, wasn't going to get over it, got her body between herself and Marie Deveston and forced the push in the back and went down for the free. And look, all this, I suppose, all the changes, substitutions and everything just runs down the clock another few minutes for Derek Lyons. But you look, I feel Waterford are probably going to have to score again. You know, Tipper haven't had a real purple patch in this game yet, and you just feel that if they were to have one, Waterford would like to have a little bit more of a cushion just to keep them at arm's length.
Just 2 scores between the teams. It's 113 to 10 points to Waterford. We have 9 minutes remaining here in FBD Simple Stadium in Thurles in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. Who can Waterford do the job, or can Tipperary turn this around? Tipperary have shown the resilience already in this year's championship campaign, getting draws against Clare and Dublin. They got a draw against Dublin, which was 14 players in the field for most of that match as well. So count Tipperary out at your peril. They're well capable of getting back into this game, but Waterford, as Elaine said, 1 or 2 scores away maybe from a famous victory for themselves after being written off so many times, and that's just the last couple of years. This is Sarah Lacey. Sarah Lacey on the move, gives the pass off. She lost her hurl in the process, didn't drop it, says the official. Beck Carton with a shot, and that looks like it's going to the right and wide. No arguments from anybody on that. We're having another change now. It's a Tipperary change. Casey Hennessy is coming on the field of play, and she'll replace Clodagh McIntyre. Yeah,
look, I suppose Clodagh, known for her speed, I suppose didn't really get a whole lot of change out that Waterford defence today. And you know, when you're running into those 2 spare players, you're running into a wall of Waterford defenders time and time again. So Casey Hennessy on now to try and see if she can offer something a little bit different up front.
Casey Hennessy was a player that received the red card already this season in the Little Woods Ireland League. That was rescinded. Is with Waterford at the moment, down towards the attack. This is Niamh Rocket. Niamh Rocket looking around for options. She might go herself, backs herself, goes for the shot. Is this the first score that Waterford need? Waterford gets the score. Niamh Rocket puts it over the bar. 7 points between them again, 114 to 10.
Yeah, look, and did really well there to punish the chip pocket. You know, it was a little bit mishandled by Tipper in the middle of the field. Lorraine Bray got on a super ball across. Niamh Rocket found herself in loads of space, did really well. Thought about maybe going for a goal, but opted to come back then and just keep that scoreboard tipping over for Waterford.
Emer Lopeman pushed up the field for Waterford, sends the ball in for Niamh Tracy, who has possession, back for Emer Mcgrath. Emer Mcgrath holds the ball. The referee had spotted a foul on Niamh Tracy originally, I think, and it's going to be a free in for Waterford and for Cott Defan, who again, and hasn't had the opportunities, as Elaine said, hasn't scored in the match, looking for her 13th point of the championship on an afternoon that is looking unlucky for Tipperary, but this could turn their fortune around. Caught the fan with it, and it's gone to the right and wide. Neither of us a Tipperary person up here in the commentary box, but even we flinched on that one.
Yeah, look, and it looked to be on its way before it just drifted off to the right and wide. But as I said, look, Tip just trying to force things at the moment, and sometimes the more you force it, the more you look for that first win, the harder things become, and things like that become routine enough frees for players of the likes of Cottevan just don't come off. And to be fair to Tip today, nothing has, you know, they haven't got any of those breaks. They've all gone Waterford's way, and you could argue that that's the hunger that Waterford have brought today. They've won those breaks through sheer determination and hunger all over the field.
I mentioned earlier on we will have the announcement of the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship Player of the Match in a moment, and Elaine will be making that decision in the next couple of moments too. We'll announce that name and hear from the Player of the Match at the end of the game. Inside the 65-metre line, Tipperary have a sideline cut, and it's going to be taken by Aoife Mcgrath. Aoife Mcgrath gets underneath this. Can Tipperary get the score? They get themselves back in this game as Waterford wind down the clock. Kate Lynch has possession, looks around for options, finds a Tipperary stick, but a Waterford player comes in again and helps push the ball down towards the 65-metre line. Tipperary won't give up, you can be guaranteed that, but Waterford just seem to have those extra bodies and they know what to do the whole time. Clodagh Carroll with the ball, shakes off the marker, moves away, has been given the advantage of a free, and the advantage, well, I think the advantage is gone now, but Sarah Lacey had the ball. Emer McGrath takes possession now, turns on the right as the Drummond Inch player, down in towards the attack, looking for a moment here for an opportunity for Tipperary to get the goal that will have us doubting what's going to happen here at the closing stages. This could be the chance. Laura Scheller's about to pull the trigger, blocked down by Waterford defenders. There's still another opportunity as they're queuing up for Tipperary, but it's not happening for them at the moment. Waterford, look at the sea of white, just blocking the path towards the goal, and Tipperary being pushed back towards the 45-metre line. Emer McGrath doing well to hold on to the ball, gives the pass over Caoimhe Maher on the 20-metre line, trying to find a chance for a shot. A sneak shot there goes out over the line to the right and wide. Again, another opportunity goes a begging for Tipperary. You can just see the replay here on your screen, but Elaine, we're going to take this moment with 5 minutes to go for you to tell us the players that impressed you in this match and your overall Glen Dimplex player of the match.
Yeah, look, and there was a lot of them there in that passage of play. As I said, a sea of white, just Tip running at it time and time again, but not only superb defending from Waterford, but so disciplined. They gave no free away, they've limited Tip's chances from play and certainly from frees. Look, I suppose the players of the match today all came from a Waterford point of view. They were all wearing white jerseys out there. They had outstanding players all over the field. Look, as I mentioned in commentary, Clodagh Carroll goes about her job so well at number 6 there. Lorraine Bray in the middle of the field was superb. Beck Carton, Abby Flynn, offered so much. Roisin Kerwin brought a whole new dimension to her in the middle of the field. But I thought the girl who was at the breakdown of all those rucks and came out with all that dirty ball was Clara Griffin. For me, from the start today, she was just the standout player. She was around every breaking ball. She made really clever decisions with every ball that she got. She set Waterford up on attack time and time again. And I just thought her work rate all over the field, didn't get on the scoreboard herself, but set up her colleagues time and time again.
Waterford's number 9, Clara Griffin, is the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship Player of the Match, and we will hear from Clara at the end of this game. Can Tipperary change the narrative of the story before the finish? That's the question. 3.5 minutes to go, though. It remains a 7-point ball game here. Waterford in front, 114 to 10 points, and Clara Griffin, as we just mentioned there, trying to put the ball away, gets blocked down on that occasion. A blocked down by, looked like, was it Julianne Burke? But that is Clara Griffin, your Player of the Match, wearing the black helmet, wearing number 9, and it's a Waterford sideline cut in front of us. Sarah Lacey about to take this, and we have just over 3 minutes to go in the game. She missed it the first time, hits it the second, hits it well for Niamh Rocket. Chance here for Waterford to wrap it up. A shot, a save from Anya Slattery, out for a 45. If you're a Waterford supporter, it would have been the perfect exclamation mark to sign this game off, but Anya Slattery shows exactly why she's one of the best goalkeepers in the country. Yeah,
superb save from her, and as I said, you put your house on Niamh Rocket from there, and super cut initially from Sarah Lacey on her second attempt, and found itself right into Niamh Rocket's hands. And look, she'll be disappointed she didn't finish it. There'll be a day Waterford will need them. They'll be lucky enough today. I don't think they're going to need it to see out this game, but as I said, credit to Anya Slattery, came out, made herself big, and showed superb reflexes to get a hurl to that one and spin it out for the 45.
Not for the first time in this game, she stood up when required as Anya Slattery, but Waterford do have the 45, and it's a Waterford 45 for Beck Carton. Just over 2 minutes to go. Waterford on their way to a famous victory in the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, and Beck Carton puts the ball over the bar, and it's now 115 to 10 points, 8 clear.
Yeah, and I think just if you look out even now at the Tip defence, and they're all over the place. Marie Evanston back at full back, Julianne Burke in the half back line. Tip are just at 6s and 7s out there, and it just shows the dominance Waterford have had out there today. I think they've asked all the questions of Tip, and Tip just haven't been able to find the answers, as they haven't been able to for most of this campaign to date.
We're keeping an eye on the action there, but Elaine, just while we're chatting there, but 2 quick questions about the two teams. We'll watch this attack first as Beck Carton sends the ball in towards Niamh Rocket. Niamh Rocket shows good control, going for a shot that should fall harmlessly for Anya Slattery. It doesn't. She'll clear the ball. Psychologically, what does this result mean for Waterford? Because granted, they're up the second in Group 1, they haven't qualified yet, there's still work to be done, but it's Tipperary, a team that have struggled to get over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. It's a team that have been their bogey team over the years. You know, they've come up through the ranks together, got into quarterfinals, and Tip always seem to have been able to get the one over on Waterford and get to that semi-final. And it's Tip we've been talking about as one of the top 4 teams and up there challenging the top 3. So for Waterford today, I suppose to come here, come to Thurles, I suppose even bigger on the back of a big weekend last weekend, and to get a result here today against Tipperary. And really, look, it's whatever it is on the scoreboard, 7 points on the scoreboard. But they've been utterly dominant all over the field from the word go today. And as I said, they were the ones that looked like they were coming with everything to lose, and they just didn't ever let Tip get a foothold in the game.
Caoimhe Maher was the Tipperary player there that got the point to bring it back to a 7-point ball game, 115-11. Vicky Faulkner is on the field to play for Waterford. She replaces Roisin Curran. What an impact she had. And the stadium announcer has told us we're going to have 2 added minutes on top of the 30 seconds you can see in the top right of your screen in this game. Surely not time for Tipperary, but Niamh Tracy might have a go. Niamh Tracy with a shot, batted by Brianna O'Regan. I think it was batted over the bar. It is batted over the bar. It's a score for Tipperary, a score for Niamh Tracy, and it's 115-12 points. Elaine, Tipperary, like, they're really going to be up against it. Many people, this commentator included, had them marked in as guaranteed semi-finalists and maybe challenge for a place in the All-Ireland final. They're going to find it hard to work their way back into this campaign now.
Yeah, and look, that's what they've been threatening to do for the last couple of years. They have been the 4th best team in the country, I suppose, and they've just fallen short of that semi-final stage every year and just failing to make the breakthrough. And I think sometimes the longer you spend at that stage, you're nearly sitting still, and it allows teams like Waterford to gain momentum and try and gain some traction and catch you when you're sitting in that 4th spot. And look, it seems to be for Tipperary, they've done a lot of hurling over the last couple of years and they just haven't made that breakthrough, and it's allowed teams like Waterford then just to see them as vulnerable. And I suppose the couple of results early this year, Clare drawing with them and then beating them in the Munster semi-final, probably did wonders for the likes of Waterford and Dublin, which gave them the confidence to come and finally tackle Tip and try and take their place as number 4 and probably possibly higher in the championship.
Emer Mcgrath got a point there for Tipperary to bring it back to 115-13 points. I can hear some Tipperary supporters at home watching our coverage saying this game isn't over yet, and you're completely right, but they need the goal to come in the next 60 seconds, need 2 goals to come. Tipperary, of course, won't be out of the championship, but 2 must-win games will be for them now in 2 weeks' time against Wexford and 2 further weeks when they take on Cork. Orla Hickey with the ball for Waterford, tried to pick out Lorraine Bray, not to be, and Tipperary will keep hurling till the referee Ray Kelly says it's all over and done here. Caoimhe Maher with the ball for the Premier County, down in towards the attack, down into the inside line, but it's bapped up there by the player of the match, Clara Griffin, and she drops it out towards the direction of Niamh Rocket. Niamh Rocket with a pass down on the side. The commentary box filling up with reporters here. They're in for the second game as well as the first. We're looking at Lorraine Bray. She's a player to her left. She might go herself. Lorraine Bray saved by Anya Slattery. She might have picked out Vicky Faulkner. It goes out for a 45 nonetheless. Waterford going to get a chance to finish off the scoring.
Yeah, look, and Lorraine Bray probably had a little bit more space. She probably could have carried that a little bit further, but look, for a girl with 8 on her back, as I said, popped up with 2-4 last week, and again could have got a chance there. Again, has 3 points to her name today and could easily have opted to pop that one over the bar, but opted to go for the jugular, and I suppose that's a real sign of Waterford. Their confidence is high and they wanted that goal.
2 minutes of injury time has been played. Beck Carton with another 45 in this match. It's Waterford 115. It's Tipperary 13 points. Beck Carton getting ready to take this. And can she finish off another score for a 7, but 6 between them? The Tipperary defenders at the crossbar because the ball has gone over the bar. 116-13 points. All eyes on the referee. He's blown the final whistle. And Waterford have produced a famous victory over Tipperary in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, winning by 6 points. Elaine Aylward, your final thoughts?
Yeah, look, as I said, they've dominated from start to finish today. They led the whole way through. They played with the team with the most confidence. They certainly attacked everything. They looked goal hungry from the start. You know, only managed to get one in the end, but certainly threatened Anya Slattery's goal much more than Tip threatened Brianna O'Regan's goal. And for Waterford, it's a huge shot in the arm. You know, coming out of Welsh Park 2 weeks ago, I suppose they would have, their championship hopes looked to be a little bit under pressure, but they bounced back last weekend with that massive victory against Wexford, and now another victory here today puts their championship hopes right back alive and jumps them over Dublin into second position in the group.
A well, fantastic victory for Waterford. Don't go away because we're going to have a chat with the Glen Dimplex player of the match, Clara Griffin from Waterford at the moment. But Waterford going to second place in Group 1, their second win in 3 matches. They have beaten Tipperary here in FBD Simple Stadium. A final score, Waterford 116, Tipperary 13 points.
Invincible.
Thank you very much and welcome back here to FBD Simple Stadium. You can see the rain is falling down here, so we won't hang around. Delighted to be joined by our Glen Dimplex player of the match, Cara Griffin, is going to receive the Roberts Bluetooth Wi-Fi from our match commentator, Elaine Aylward. Well done, Cara. Now, Cara, just a couple of quick questions here. Fantastic victory for Waterford. You know, a Tipperary team that you've struggled to get over the last couple of years. A massive result for your team.
Yeah, absolutely. No, whenever we go out to play Tipperary, it's always a big battle. And over the last 4 years, we've kind of been at the wrong end of those results. So we're delighted now to get the win today and push on now for the rest of the championship.
Outside of the weather, how difficult was it out there? Because what we were impressed about Waterford, especially in the first half, was the way you went in to fall off the dirty ball the whole way through. It was normally a Waterford player, often yourself coming out with it.
Absolutely, yeah. No, there's lots of rucks and kind of hard tackles going in there today in the wet weather, and the work great Tipperary brought, and I suppose we did as well to get the win. It was just brilliant and yeah, great to be a part of.
A week off next week now, but fortunes change after the disappointment of the opening day defeat against Dublin. 2 wins now, and you can really start believing now there could be a good year yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we have 2 weeks to regroup, I suppose, and prepare again and go to Cork. I think it is our next game. So yeah, no, we're really happy now with the last 2 wins, and we just push on from here.
Well, Cara, we're going to let you get in out of the way, and well done. You are the player of the match, and congratulations on that. We're going to get a picture there. Actually, Elaine, you go in for the picture there. And just while we're wrapping up here, because we're coming near the end of our time, Elaine will give us her overall final thoughts. A massive crowd here. Waterford now go to second in Group 1. Cork on 9 points. Waterford on 6. Dublin 4. Wexford 3. Tipperary 2. Clare 1. But for Waterford, we're only out here a couple of minutes, and we're feeling how difficult it is too as well. You can see what Clara do, but a deserving winner.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, as I said in commentary, she got on the end of all that dirty ball, and each and every time she came out with possession, she used it to the best advantage, and she set Waterford on the attack. And I think that's really where they built the foothold in this game, was around the middle of the field. They won those rucks and they set that half forward line on the attack, and look, they were the hungrier from the word go, and I think Clara epitomised that.
A week off with the Group 1 teams as well. Looking, obviously the top 3 will be the happiest 3 at the moment in Cork, Waterford and Dublin as well, but plenty more teams in the mix here as well. But Waterford now, it's looking good that they're going to make the quarterfinals.
Yeah, look, from where they started, as I said 2 weeks ago in Walsh Park, they're certainly come on in leaps and bounds in the last 2 games, and they're 2 massive wins for them. Look, they go to Cork now next weekend. It's probably a free shot, you know. Cork are or 2 weekends time, Cork are top of the group. They're expected to top that group. You wouldn't expect anyone to win points off Cork, but look, it sets them up then for a huge final round game with Clare then in the last group game.
That's a game to look forward to in a couple of weeks' time. As you can see here behind us, there's another big game taking place. So we're going to wrap up. Thank you, Elaine Aylward, match commentator here with myself, Darren Kelly, and of course to the team from Entray, Dave, Owen and Luke, who brought you the coverage here today. We'll be somewhere next week. Group 2 action takes place. Galway at home against Dublin, Offaly against Limerick, Antrim hosting Kilkenny. One of them will be out. We hope you enjoyed our coverage here from FBD Simple Stadium in Thurles. The final score in the Glen Dimplex All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship, with a massive victory for Waterford. It finished Waterford 116, Tipperary 13 points.